you kind of learn a lot along the way, and it's just whether you adapt or you figure out what it takes to stay in the league and lessen the politics, be on one page, one goal. I'm not good as some of these other guys that have been doing it for a long time.
You know, most of the Filipinos don't understand that way of thinking or mentality.
Yeah.
Most of them want it instantly. Like, they want success right away.
Instant gratification, like, that is, for me, the root of all evil. Like, we do not want instant gratification. Like, I tell my kids all the time, like, what have you failed at today? How are you doing what you're doing? How do you manage 2,000 people? How do you have these businesses that you're scaling? And they said, you can't do it by yourself. Cannot. You need to get a team around you. It's not supposed to feel good when you're growing. Like, if it's easy, you're not growing. So you got to really just embrace the darkness for whatever you're doing, man. Whatever you're trying to be good at, you want to fail. You know, a time to, hey, let's spread some awareness about these types of things. I think it's not a bad thing to start trying to do things like this, right? We're not hurting anyone. There are people out there that want to know things about this more, so let's talk about it.
So, to everyone, mental health is real.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what is up? You're listening to the Tidal Zone podcast, the #1 podcast for Filipinos who want to make an impact. I'm your host, Nix, aka Chubby Mamba, aka my DMs ain't open. Beside me, my co-host.
Hey, what's up? My name is Kelvin, aka the Kelvinator, aka currently a brokey, soon to be a top G. Let's go. Before you start, I want to put you on the spot. Who's your favorite PBA player growing up?
Bro, he's right here. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up, our special guest for today. Thank you so much, sir. Welcome, Mr. Jared Dillinger. Let's go.
Welcome.
Up, fellas?
What's up?
Yeah. Fellas? Good to see you, Nix, Kelvin. It's a pleasure. Dude, we were just talking off the record here that, you know, you guys just started your podcast, and we all know that I have a podcast as well. So anything just to give love, to give support. I see what you guys are doing. So I actually reached out to Nix, like, bro, I want to be on your show, man. Like, somehow let's just make it happen because I love what you guys are doing. So
thank you.
Bam, here we are, bro.
And actually, like, super grateful for that. I was gonna invite, like, that was always in my head, man. Like, I was always gonna message, but like that time was like actually crazy because we were just getting the podcast started.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yo, you know, lining up all these guests, like making sure the studio set up, and I was super thank you that you made it easy, and like it was just super smooth, and you just came from practice, right?
Yeah,
like,
it just came from practice, dude. I know how it is with podcasting and scheduling, and I already know what you're talking about and going through, bro. So it's all gravy.
You appreciate it. And actually, like, I think this will be episode 9, but
Word.
I'm gonna try. What I'm gonna do for you, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make this episode number 2 on the YouTube one. That's your number, right?
Let's go.
Let's
number
do
2,
it.
That's right. That's ourselves.
We're gonna do number 2.
Okay,
right?
I'll take that. That's dope.
Well, we're excited. Calvin, you're obviously excited for
Yes,
this
of course.
episode. And one thing, you know, like, for those who are just tuning in right now and maybe wanted to know a little bit more about who Mr. JD is, can you share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So as you may not know, I play basketball.
Boom.
Boom. Yeah, so I'm been living out here in the Philippines. I'm American, born and raised in the United States, but I've been living out here in the Philippines for about 16 years. Been playing professional ball for 16 years. Crafted out a pretty solid career. Got a nickname, moniker called the Daredevil. So I'm the Daredevil. Pero Dare Angel na yun. And I've been transitioning slowly into, I guess, what you would call the finance industry of all things. I kind of have my hand in a couple different cookie jars, as an analogy to say the least, of just projects that I'm building and trial and error of things that I enjoy doing. So I'm going to just do it. We'll kind of get into that later.
Yeah.
But aside from doing KOL influencing gigs or NFT projects or podcasts or media companies, I'm just doing things that make me happy and just sharing that journey along the way with all of you guys to see, and hopefully I can provide some value with that comes with this big journey or learning experience that I'm going through, and I'm having fun. I'm really having fun with it.
That's the most important thing, right? You're having fun.
Nice.
And you're like, wow, like it's actually like, to me, and I don't want to be like looked or hear or seem biased here, but like, to me, you're doing it like the best way possible for like a pro athlete, and like transitioning, and doing all the other things. So what was, I guess, like, was that always in your mind, like as you were pooping, crashing the boards, drilling those threes? Were you like at the back of your mind, like, yo, I'm not gonna do this forever? Like, should I start planning things out? How did that go?
Yeah, facts. As a player, you have this big life cycle. Like when you first get into the league, you are trying to prove to people that you belong, right? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. By the time you get near the end of your career, it's kind of funny, but you're trying to prove to these people again that you still got it. So in the beginning, you're trying to tell them that you belong. And in the end, you're still trying to prove to them that you still belong, right? Mm-hmm. So going through that life cycle and realizing like, man, I know I don't got this forever. And I need to start doing things outside of basketball. What do I like doing? What's fun? Like, there are a lot of concepts that you learn in life as a professional athlete. A lot of people don't understand sports, business, or sports in real life. They are very eerily similar in terms of being successful. Like, if you don't do something that you purely love, you're not going to be that good at it, right? You gotta love what you do.
100%.
100%, right? So that was the first thing that I had to sit down and figure out, what do I really love doing? Like, I love the finance space. I love crypto. I love NFTs. Those are fun. I have a mouthpiece on me. I love talking. I'm usually the guy in those basketball huddles and basketball dugouts giving speeches and hoorahs to the guys, giving value ever since Talk and Text days. Mm-hmm. So it just came off natural. And I just started doing a lot of trial and error. Like, I didn't have anyone really tell me what to do or what I should be doing. I just figured, dude, I'm going to be proactive and I'm just going to do it. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, but that's how you get good at anything. And I just started going down the list of like, man, this is kind of dope. I'm going to try this. Yeah. Oh, I kind of messed up. Okay, let me pivot a little bit. Let me figure out how I did this and let me try this again. And from there, it doesn't even feel like a transition. I just feel like I was doing hobbies and now it's turning into a career. And I'm just figuring out how to balance all this, that's probably the hardest thing right now. Like, crazy amount. Like, I have no time.
That's hard. Like,
it's a good problem to have.
Good problem.
Good problem to have, but it's been tough.
Well, how did you, like, let me take a quick step back. Step back 3.
Sure. Yeah. Let's go.
When, like, you've obviously, like, passionate about basketball, like that, you bleed that for sure. But when did it really click for you? Like, yo, I have a legitimate shot to be a pro athlete. Like,
oh man,
what was that moment?
Man, dude, that goes way back. My junior year at university, people started to find out, this was in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. People who don't know, there's a large Filipino community out in Hawaii.
Yeah.
My name doesn't resonate. You're a Filipino. Like, I sound as white as they come. But once people started watching me play and word was spreading around the island that I'm this Filipino kid, it spread pretty quick to the Philippines that I'm this 6'4", 6'5" Filipino kid that could hoop for a Division I team. I started having scouts and coaches call my phone and come to my practices, just watching me, scouting me, letting me know, hey, there's a league out here in the Philippines. We want you over here. Would you be interested? Back then, we didn't have social media. We didn't have the internet that we have today. Mm-hmm. It was hard to find information about the Philippines, to be honest.
Yeah, you have like zero info at that point.
It was tough. I would have to have scouts show me newspaper clippings. That's how old I am, bro. Of the Philippine League, of the PBA. So that was really my periscope of seeing like, man, should I go over there? Like, I see this newspaper clipping of some guys hooping. I mean, it's cool. Like, it's the motherland, but it's not what it is like what we see today, where we get to see this 4K resolution of Malonzo dunking, or you see JB hitting these crazy step backs. Like, it was a risk, and it was kind of scary when I first decided, like, yo, okay, I guess I have a chance to hoop and play pro. I think I should try it. Why not? Like, you only got one life to live. I'm not going to make it to the NBA. Like, let's do it, man. Why not? So it was really that junior year.
Wow.
But was it really your dream to play basketball, or?
For sure. But I'm just such a realist. Like, I have so much self-awareness. Like, I knew that in college, as I was getting older through the years, I wasn't going to make the NBA. And I realistically thought I was going to play in Europe for 1 or 2 years just to say that I played professional. And that would have been it. Like, my whole trajectory of what I was supposed to do was that I was just going to be an investment banker. And that's it. So I thought 1-2 years, I'm done. Come back home, investment banker. That's my life. So this was really unexpected when it fell on my lap.
But then, like, that was unexpected. But man, like, 16 years later,
Yeah.
how far you've come.
Oh, it's crazy, bro. Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. The people that you surround yourself with, the things that you learn on how to be a professional, how to stay in the league. You kind of learn a lot along the way, and it's just whether you adapt or you figure out what it takes to stay in the league. And I've been lucky enough to have people who believe in me, and I'm lucky, bro. Like, I'm really lucky I'm still here.
Blessed.
Yeah, super blessed.
I think Nick showed me a tweet of you regarding Philippine basketball. You mentioned that we can make it top 10 globally.
Oh, yeah. That
Oh,
was,
yeah,
that was
facts, man. I truly believe that.
Sorry. How do you think what are the missing pieces? What should we do in order for us to get there right now?
Man, we are so talented as a country. Like, we don't have this excuse like, oh, we're Filipinos, we're small. No, we're not that small. We really aren't. Like, we've caught up in terms of the physique, and obviously we're not Team USA, right? But in terms of the skill, the level, the talent, we're there. And I think the most important thing is really just making sure our whole basketball program, the infrastructure from top to bottom, is that we're on the same page.
Right.
I know that there's politics in every country or every situation that is never going to go away. But if we can just lessen the politics, be on one page, one goal, I promise you we're going to do so much better than the current trajectory that we're on. Like, it's great. We just won the Asian Games.
Yeah.
We won the SEA
Shout
Games.
out.
Yeah, right. We won a game in the World Cup. Granted, we only had a week or so preparation. That's not talked about enough.
Yeah, people actually don't talk about that. Like,
Yeah, bro. Like, I mean, 2014 in the World Cup, we had like 2.5 months of preparation, and we still got one win. So fast forward to now, you get 1 week of preparation. Like, dude, like that's pretty impressive. Like, I don't care who you are. It's really just being on the same page, because we got like, I said 30 players in one of my podcasts that are good to be on the national team. We got like 50.
wow.
We got like 50 Filipinos that could be on that final 12. So, dude, I think it's coming. For sure, it's coming. We're going to be top 10 someday.
This is a good start. Was last night, right?
That shit was dope.
That was crazy. Here's one thing that I feel like could help the Philippines, like Gilas, also like go the distance. And it's actually not just the team, not the management. It's actually us fans. Like, yo, let's be more patient, guys. Like, stop, because that's toxic. I mean, these guys, they look at players look at social media too, right? Like, they see those crazy things. Like, coaching staff see like the bashing that you guys do every day. Like, we have to be patient. I'm speaking from the lens of a New York Knicks fan. Like, we are like always giving we always like give like shit to like, management and stuff, but like, just give them room, let them execute the vision. And I feel like sometimes Filipinos are trying to like, we're sometimes indirectly sabotaging what we're trying to do.
I think I got a theory behind that. I think that we know, like the people, we know how good we are. So when we don't see the results that we know that we can have, I think that's what makes it a little frustrating because we know we're good.
Expectations.
Yeah,
right?
we know that we're talented. Like we have it. So it's like, how would you say if we were getting blasted by 40 every game or something, and it's just like, yeah, it's just to show effort and proof. So it's okay. We still love you, but nah, we got everything in place. So I think that's what comes with it a little
it's just
bit.
the Kegel.
Like we're right there, you guys. We're right there.
Yeah. And actually, like, I love the point you said about, like, it's not even about the height or, like, the physical attributes at this point. It reminds me of this dude in the World Cup, like, from Japan. It's like 5'6" or 5'7", and lit everyone up, right?
Yeah.
Like, like it's not even that at this point, right?
No. We got the horses now that could bang with the big guys down low. Like, we've always had the guards. Like, our guards, we can match up our guards with anyone in the world, I believe. Right. So it was really just getting those horses down in the paint to really open it up or make sure we can have enough like strength and physique, I guess, if you want to say to battle with rebounds and whatnot. Yeah. Right. So like, dude, we're there, man, for sure.
The hustle's there.
Yeah.
Or what would you consider your most memorable moment as a basketball player?
Oh man, dude, I have so many, dude. What were some crazy ones? I think being on the national team is always fun. Like, just any tournament that I was in, whether it was in China or Japan or somewhere in Southeast Asia, like, representing your country is such a cool feeling. I wish every player could feel what it feels like to have the country watch you and just support you, win or lose. Like, it's such a privilege. You feel so proud too when you're wearing that flag, across your chest. I would say my first championship in the PBA, you don't ever forget those ones. The first ones are really like, because you have so much uncertainty. You don't know what it feels like. You don't know how hard you have to work to win those types of games. The first one is cool. I think the bubble, where we won the first bubble championship, that one was really unique.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just because people don't talk about it enough, but the bubble, like, that was the most purest basketball that you're gonna play.
Yeah.
Like, it is just no distractions, no like wives or girlfriends or kids. It's just straight hooping. So the mentals in there was like just off the charts, and getting that chip, like, it was cool, man.
That was special.
It was different out of the other ones. Yeah. It was cool.
That was actually, like, oddly enough, because I was like on and off watching PBA, but like with the bubble, like I was like paying attention that this was cool. Yeah, this is good stuff.
There was nothing going on, man.
And oh yeah, go ahead, man.
Sorry, which would you consider gave you the most pressure or more pressure, playing a finals PBA or playing for your country?
Oh man, like, I would say, I'm trying to think, like, because like game 7 of a finals game, or I mean, you'd have to stay for your country if you're playing in a tournament. Like, if you're playing finals against Jordan right now, right? that's pretty pressure because it's one game. Yeah. It's not 7 games, right? So that one is way more pressure, I would say, for sure, because you could have a bad shooting night on one game. Like, you can't have a bad shooting night. You really got to perform somehow.
Right.
It's those national team games, man. Those are more pressure, for sure.
It's hard. Like, it's actually like, damn, like single elimination. Like, even NCAA basketball, like, in the US are like, woo, like you could be destroying every single team every day, and then you lose one game to some underdog, and it's over for you.
Yeah. And it happens, man. The basketball gods are like that. Just one day, you can just shoot an empty clip from the 3, and you just can't hit it. It happens.
Yeah,
dude, you still see it to this day. Like, didn't you see the Heat, right? A seed, make it all the way down to the finals, right? So I mean, shit like that happens all the time.
Yeah, like. I don't like, like, I don't I don't ever want to offend the basketball gods. Even if I'm just a fan, like the basketball gods, they're real, guys. You heard it here first.
Oh, we talk about that stuff all the time.
So like one question, like as we, you're doing a lot these days, and it's not, you still have your basketball career, and
Sure.
we're gonna transition to the next kind of segment. But before that, before we leave, like we'll try to milk something out of you, just in case there's any kind of fun story, some kind of crazy stories that you could share for, just a little bit of a glimpse, in the life of PBA. Maybe there's a fun one that you could throw in here for our listeners.
Yeah, maybe I guess something that is not yet shown or told in public.
Right. Some little back end stories. Oh man, what could I share that's cool? I guess is life as a PBA player. I think as a PBA player, like especially like when you're young, right? You can go out around town and you can kind of get and do whatever you want. It's kind of cool if that's your style. Like, I remember a time when. And this sounds so bad.
Let's go for it.
I was in my 20s, and I don't know. It's like a Tuesday or Wednesday, like middle of the week, and we're out in the streets going from club to club. And I remember I was ready lit. Like I was really like tipsy already, and we were driving to one bar to go to another place. And we get lost, or super lost. And I wasn't driving the best that I should. And we get pulled over by some cops. Cops pulled us over. We rolled down the window and they figured, oh, hey, what's up, you guys? What's going on? We tell them like, hey, we're lost. Like, we don't know where we're going. It's like, oh, we're going to this place. They're like, oh, we know where that is. Come on, we'll escort you there. So we were lit, all of us in the car, and the cops turn on their sirens just so that we can get like escorted properly or safely to the next bar or the next club that we were going to. That was just on a Tuesday. That's just a regular PBA life on a Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a perk, right?
I guess so, right?
Yeah. Well, okay, look, one last thing here.
Sure.
Do you guys get like free stuff? Like you would go like some restaurant, like when the owner or the manager would just recognize you, or they just like sometimes give you free stuff? Yeah,
for sure, man. Like, it won't be here in the Philippines. It'll be like more so if you're in another country. Like, Filipinos were everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? We're everywhere, bro. So, and usually Filipinos they'll be out in the back kitchen, so they'll find out real quick that, oh shit, Dillinger's here. They'll tell the manager will come out like, hey, like everyone wants to take a picture with you. You're like, you're some basketball guy that from what I heard. Hey, appetizers are on me. Like that happens way far more often than you think. I think here they're a little bit jaded here in Metro Manila of seeing us. Yeah. But if we go out to the province or somewhere out in the country, you feel a little bit more stardom.
Makes sense. That makes sense. There's just more excitement, right?
I think so. Man.
Yeah. But well, that was cool. Cool to know. Like I was always wondering, Yeah. But yeah. So one thing that you've been doing like in the court is like you're known for your your hustle plays and really just grind it out. And I feel like you've kind of brought that into the things that you do now, and you're juggling a lot of cool things. And one thing that I really admire is that, as I said earlier, like you're an athlete who has kind of like, maybe I don't know if this is how it went down, but like seems like you sat down and like, okay, this is what I want to do. Like I feel like I could do these things and I can kind of make an impact with doing X, Y, Z, right?
Sure.
And that like kind of how you started the Daredevil media. So can you share a little bit about that project?
Yeah. So I'm going to always have these analogies back to basketball. And my whole life is around basketball. So look, when you want to be good at something in basketball, if I want to be a really good player, you have to do research of players that are better than you, right? Like best case example, Kobe Bryant, he studies Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
How he walks, how he chews his gum, how he shoots, how he trains. Literally every small detail, he will try to emulate him. Right? And make it his own and polish it up into his own way, right? same thing goes in business. Like, I know that I lacked experience in the business world, even though I have a business mind and this stuff really interests me, but I'm basically like a rookie coming into this professional field, and I have to pay my dues, and I'm not good as some of these other guys that have been doing it for a long time. So I just use the same template of what Kobe Bryant did. I find guys or women that I look up to, that I feel that I can be that person. I like what they're doing and building. Let me study them. And this is what they've been doing. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. And I just literally use that same type of study film session in basketball, but I just incorporate it for basketball. So that's how I founded Daredevil Media. The people that I look up to, they made a couple companies that they started out with. So I'm going to do the same.
Nice.
And that's how it really started out as. And from there, it's just a bunch of trial and error. Right? Like with anything you want to be successful at, you have to try it. You're not going to know unless you try, right?
Exactly. Like you have to take some shots.
You have to take some shots. You're going to have to take some L's. Pay your dues. Like that's all part of the process.
You miss, what's that? You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yeah, right. Dude.
Do you believe in that? Like in life and basketball?
You have to take risk. Now, obviously, there has to be a sense of calculated risk that you must take. And you really have to have some logical sense in it when you're going through these things and building up these things that you want to build up. But in the end of the day, anything worth doing, anything that you want to have success in, you have to go through some type of pain and suffering and some type of an enormous amount of failure. You have to fail so much until you get good at something.
Yeah.
So I knew that coming into this whole business platform or industry that I'm doing, I like, all right, I'm going to embrace failure. Like, I want to fail as many times as I can because I know that's just going to make me better.
Wow.
And that's just kind of this process that I'm going through right now.
Yeah, I like what you said about taking L's and failures, because most of the Filipinos don't understand that way of thinking or mentality.
Yeah.
Most of them want it instantly, like they want success right away. They didn't know that Michael Jordan had to work hard to get to where he's at.
Yeah.
You had to work hard to get to where you're at. Everyone has to work hard. Everyone has to take L's sometimes, and even failures, because that's how you learn. Nothing happens in an instant. Success is something that you need to work for. So yeah, I guess.
No, man, instant gratification, like that is, for me, the root of all evil. Like, we do not want instant gratification. Like, I tell my kids all the time, like, what if you failed at today? Like, I want you to fail. And it sounds, to them, they don't understand. They're just like, what? That sounds terrible. You don't, you want me to fail, Dad? Like, failing, like, really helps shape you, like, as a person. It builds your character. It helps you build discipline, because you know that whatever mistake that you made, you're going to polish it up and be better the next time. It's really applying what did you learn from it so you can be better next time. Like, that whole process, it's all about pain and suffering. You want to take as much pain and suffering as you can up to that limit without breaking.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to lose really bad where it just mentally breaks you and you're obviously way worse than what you started with, right? So there is a level of losing that you have to put yourself through, just to the point of almost at your breaking limit, right? So, I mean, we're all on the same page here, you guys.
Easy W is also like an easy win is also not as as fulfilling. Yeah, it doesn't feel as good.
Right? It feels good when you go through the darkness and you get out of it and you get that dove, and it feels great.
That's like how movies and animes work, right? Like the main character gets like destroyed like before he eventually achieves success.
Exactly,
and becomes strong.
Exactly.
Well, what was the motivation for you, like with Daredevil Media? Like, what were you seeing in this space? Like, what were like, okay, now this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna serve people this way.
Yeah, I think just seeing out on the internet like this big digital era that we're really moving into. Obviously, during the pandemic, the big crypto boom, NFT boom, you're just noticing. And now, fast forward to now, that big AI boom that we're going through, we're really moving fast forward into the digital space. Like building a personal brand is really important.
Yeah.
It seems like these days. And I knew that with my current platform that I had with basketball, and knowing that like companies, people, like we just absorb content. I knew that just being in and around as a public figure in all of these social platforms that I've been in and around on videos or Twitter, like I think it was just the next process for me to like make it into something real. Like, yeah, let's build a media company. Let's start making content. Let's craft out what we love and what we want to do and how we want to affect people. Like, let's test the waters. Let's see how it goes.
Nice.
And it was just really just slow and steady and finding out things that worked and things that didn't work. Like, that was really it.
How's it going now? Like, what are you guys up to?
It's been a ride. I got obviously the Let It Fly podcast. Obviously, that's very sports centric. I have a CNN show that I've been building forever. Like, CNN is tough. I've been talking about this for so long. It feels like since February, and I thought it was going to be a lot easier before getting into it. But a CNN show that I've been building, that's going to be really fun once it comes out.
Is this the future?
That's the future.
The future.
Yeah. It's the future. And I get to talk about any emerging technologies that's really shaping our society. It's fun. I get to talk about future stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, to dumb it down, if you will. And I think just talking about things that I love being in and around, like it's fun. I get to talk about cool futuristic stuff in sports and get to film myself and make content out of it.
Nice.
And then companies will pay me just to talk about stuff.
That's the life, yo.
Cool. That sounds fun. Why not? I mean, let's rock with this. I see my idols doing it. Hey, let's try it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of the future, AI, right?
Sure.
We were talking about that before we went live. What are your thoughts there? Like what are your thoughts? It's kind of like a future thing, but also it's happening now.
Yeah, right. It came on quick. It seems like into the masses, right? Because I mean, it's been going on for a minute, like 2016, 2017, but really it didn't really hit the public market until recently. And now, at least here in Asia, it seems everyone's aware of it. We know what's going on, whether it's scary or we're trying to embrace it. It feels like how the crypto and NFT market was booming, a couple years back when we started talking about metaverse.
That's true.
Just so much uncertainty. It seems like we're kind of going through that right now with AI. We don't know where this is going to end up settling down into our society. Right now, it seems like the possibilities are endless, right?
Yeah.
It seems like it's something that we really need to embrace and understand, because it doesn't seem like it's going to be going anywhere. It seems like it's here to stay. So I think it's really important to educate ourselves of what AI is and how it can be utilized to our everyday lives and how it can benefit you and your job or what you're trying to do, whether that's in the business world or off the business world in your daily life. I think just like when the internet came, there was a lot of tension of how this information vessel is going to be bad or good for people. So I think right now there's a lot of tension again of like, is this good for us? Is this bad for us? And that's what we're trying to figure out. So I think it's for sure really important. You gotta educate yourself, bare minimum.
Exactly.
Okay. So I asked Jeff about this as well.
Jeff Hunter.
Yeah.
Shout out, Jeff.
Shout out, Jeff.
Do you think AI is going to take over humanity soon?
Ooh, man, that sounds like a movie question, right? Like first thing that comes up in my head is like Terminator.
Exactly.
Right? I don't know if I'm smart enough to answer that question. Like there's a handful of guys like Elon Musk just spreading caution that we need to scale it back because some crazy stuff could really pop off if we don't really get a stronghold on AI and how we're developing it, right?
Yeah.
I think that it sounds scary that we can automate this robot and how it can learn on its own and adapt to new experiences without us telling it. So that sounds pretty uneasy because when we don't have the control of something, that scares a lot of people, right? So I think all these platforms like Bard and ChatGPT, like I know that although the companies that run it, they really stripped it down so that it really can't like do a lot that what we expect.
So it's not even the maximum level.
It's not even the max. Like when they first put it out, they noticed it was doing way too many things that were whether too good or too bad for humanity. So they scaled the shit out of it back. So I mean, I think that's kind of a tale right there. Like, hey man, we gotta just be careful and tread water with this because this could get out of control.
Like Canva is actually a very popular tool like, for most people, and they just rolled out the Magic AI 2 days ago, and it's super powerful. Like it's crazy how like I'm not a graphic artist or by any means I have no graphic design blood in me, but man, like I was just like typing stuff and like the result that it gives out, I was like, whoa, I'm an artist. Like I wanted to rush to like an art like gallery and like pretend to be an artist, right?
That's the thing that's so crazy. Like I didn't point this out. Like I think what helped push me over into the business world even more was really AI. Like I had so much anxiety when I first started getting into Daredevil Media or Let It Fly Entertainment. Every time I'm cold pitching companies or I'm giving presentations, I gotta build a slide deck or a media kit. I gotta have a business proposal. I gotta whip up a contract. Where do you learn that? YouTube University?
Yes, sir.
And that is such a long process because not all the information you find on there is correct. And I was going through so much trial and error with just building out all of these like parts of the business that you need to make sure you know and understand. AI comes along that just speeds up all of that so quick. All of a sudden, I can make a business plan and a slide deck, a good legal contract that makes sense. Now, all of a sudden, I sound like a legitimate CEO in like 30 minutes on ChatGPT, right? So I think that's really just going back and hammering down on it. Like, if you can utilize AI to your benefit for whatever you're doing or building, like you need to know or you're going to get left behind.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yo, so we were talking about your podcast earlier, Let It Fly. I'm like, I think I listened to like 2 episodes and I actually saw one like on video. You're there with Sol Mercado and Gabe. And what's the experience with that? Because when I saw that, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but like I think that was the first of its kind in the Philippines, or at least for pro athletes like podcasts. Because I watch like, Podcast P, Paul George, Gil's Arena, like NBA, like they've been doing it, but like I think yours is the first here. Is that accurate?
I think so. I mean, the way we're doing it, where we're really making sure we have all the bells and whistles. And again, like all these things that I'm doing, you guys, like anyone can do it. Like, look, I'll use the same analogy with Kobe studying Jordan.
Yeah.
We look at podcasts in the States, All the Smoke, Podcast P, all these pros doing these podcasts. We just follow that template.
Exactly.
So, I mean, now easier said than done. You got to execute, and there's a lot of things that to get from point A to point B. But all these blueprints are out there. And it's really whatever one that you want to follow, like it's all laid out. So we just figured like, look, man, no one's doing something out here. I think we can do something special. No one has even, I don't think, tried to do something that we did on our level and the type of content that we're making. So I think, cool, we're one of the first to do it. I think, and I hope that more people follow, because I think it's going to start something out here.
Right.
We're going to start something bigger than what we're doing currently.
Has anyone like asked you for advice? Like anyone from the league was like, "Yo, bro, like I'm thinking about starting a podcast too."
Oh yeah, for sure. We already see it. We see like a lot of college dudes doing little podcasts already. A lot of homies are asking like the ins and outs of just like, how do you run it, and how are you filming it? How many people do you have on your team? Like, how much content should you put out? Like, we definitely gained a lot of interest. Like, anytime we go out, or there's people coming up to us saying like, yo, that podcast is lit. Like, you guys need to make more videos. You aren't making enough. So it's definitely, we feel like we're making an imprint in the culture out here, for sure.
Nice.
In the sports culture.
That's cool. As any like when you started the Let It Fly podcast, like, can you walk us through like how that started? Was it your idea, or like how did it kind of come about?
Yeah, yeah. The whole thing was my idea, and I just knew that I had to find the right people that are going to make this podcast work. I don't want to find people that we're all going to agree on the same stuff. I wanted to get different personalities so that people can resonate with this guy because he's the serious one, or this one is the funny one, this one is Mr. Perfect, or whoever it may be. Like, I wanted to get clashing personalities, and I wanted to get people who can, for one, know how to speak and know the game, obviously, and that are respected in the game. So having someone like Susie, or we call her AKA Tin, everyone knows Tin. Yeah. And what she's done for the culture and for sports, like, she had to be on there. So, same thing with Saul and Gabe. Like, everyone knows those guys, and they're really smart individuals. So, and they've been around and they've seen a lot. So I think crafting the right amount of personalities is really important, and making sure I'm getting the right type of partnerships in place so we can be, broadcasted out, to the level of standards that I'm trying to get this thing out, and the vision that I see with it.
Nice.
Yeah. So what do you want to achieve with the Let It Fly podcast?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing I want with this podcast is I want to turn it into a brand. Like, there's some things that I haven't told too much to the audience yet that we're going to be popping off for season 2 that we hope can start a trend in the podcast industry. Like, we are trying to create a new way that people are going to do podcasting. And we hope with these things that we have that we're going to release that it's going to change the landscape with that. We want to be the next Bleacher Report, Overtime, Clutch Points. Nice. Out here in the Philippines, out here in Asia. They don't have stuff like that out here.
Yeah.
And we have so much talent and culture and personalities. Like, I want the world to see that. Like, we got some really cool, dope things out here in the Philippines. We have so much art. Like, we have so much culture. Like, I'm going to keep beating down on that. Like, we are such a basketball infused country. So I think we have so much value to provide out there in the world, not just in Asia. And I think we can be a mecca with that. So the more that we can just blast out who we are, what we do, this is how we are, like, the better.
Media brand.
Yeah, full on, man.
That's promising. Well, we're right there with you. We're gonna support that all the way, man.
That's dope, man.
Well, building up these media brands and you just being, a very recognizable. Like, you're an athlete. You've done a lot, and maybe it's I don't know how easy or hard it is, but you're everywhere. So you kind of like have these. I see you with Secret Fresh, right?
Yeah,
you're repping brands. Like, how does it work? Like, how are you?
Yeah,
kind of like this. You're like I'm a 50-50 with the word influencer, but you are, man. You're an influencer.
I get it, man. No, it's cool. Like, anywhere I can like help people understand how this stuff works, like, I'm all for it. So, like, for real, ask me anything on this type of stuff. So yeah, I'm a public figure. Okay, so I have self-awareness that, like, I have a platform. I'm a basketball player. Like, I can leverage that. So making a media company and a podcast and having a CNN show, I can leverage all those to showcase companies that I like. Like, I am a big fan of DJ Big Boy Chang, aka Secret Fresh. I love how he reps artists and how he built this culture. Like, he's a big shoe guy, he's a DJ.
Yeah.
He's in the art community. Like, he really looks out for us, the Filipinos. Like, I love the way he does business. I see how people treat him. Like, the people that he surrounds himself, I can feel that they really enjoy him as a person. Not just because he's a boss and he has money and we're gonna laugh at his jokes. Like, he's a really cool guy. So I wanted to be around that. Like, it's funny, man, when I first met him, he always knew me, but he didn't know me. So it was after, we're gonna do a little side street story here.
That's good. Shout out Big Boy Chang.
Shout out Big Boy Chang, man. When you're like trying to build a business or trying to be successful, it's really about networking and providing value to people. So after the Game 7 of the Bay Area Dragons series with Ginebra, we ended up winning it. I ended up taking down the Nets after the game.
Yeah.
And I gave one to Christian Stanharinger because he was the MVP, rightfully so. And I kept the other one because I was going to make it into a project. I figured that this hasn't been done before, so I'm going to make a card collection commemorative of all the Ginebra players. We're going to have these cards. They're all signed. And we're going to have a cut up piece of that net that I took from Game 7 and fuse it on the card.
Oh, like a patch kind of.
Yeah, like a patch, right? And we'll make this big commemorative set or cards that we can have that are legends, epics, rares, and it'll be fun. It'll be for the fans, right? So I went up to DJ Big Boy and I just said, hey man, can I talk to you? Like, I got an idea. I want to cold pitch you. And this is the first time of me talking to him about anything. It's just me like, hey, can I talk to you, man? I got something I can pitch. So I go to his Secret Fresh place, tell him the whole idea, and he loved it. He thought it was so sick. And he started picking my brain of like, what else are you doing, man? Like, players don't think like the way you think. Like, you are way ahead of the game. So I started telling him the things that I'm building and I'm doing. And he was just like, dude, I like you, bro. Hey, he starts telling his assistants, he's like, hey, give him, he is a lifetime endorser of Secret Fresh. And it just happened just like that. And I was just like, yo, that's dope, man. Like,
Give him everything.
yeah. And then that's why, so from then we just started doing more and more projects with each other. And, I would kind of treat him as a mentor, like of just how to build up these types of communities or cultures. And then, shout out again to Big Boy, man. He's dope ass dude.
Shout out Big Boy Chang.
Yes, sir.
Well, very respect. Like I don't know anyone who's like who has anything bad to say about him.
No,
like it's like
that's the
seems like a
thing.
genuinely good guy. Like we'd
Genuinely
love
good
to
guy.
would love to have you on the show sometime, sir.
He's a cool ass dude, man.
Well, that's a pretty awesome story. And you've been how long has this been since you've kind of been repping them?
I think just this year, bro. I think
this-
I would say Q1, sometime Q1 this year. I
Nice.
don't know, quarter one, Jan,
Nice.
Feb, March,
Nice.
something around there.
You also like an Anta info.
Yep, got into
right?
Anta just recently. It's kind of funny with Anta because, like, again, I'm this big self-awareness guy. Like Anta, they gave me a shoe and I just decided to do a shoe review just because I got a really cool shoe.
Yeah.
It was like of these Klay Thompson 2Ds of his last shoe, for like the 8th of his shoe series. I did a shoe review just because like this shit's fun. And they reached out to me like, yo, JD, man, that was dope. Do you want to be a Anta endorser?
Nice.
I'm like, yo, hold up though, you guys. Like, are you sure you want me? Cause like, look, like I don't play very much anymore, you guys. Like, I'm just like this big cheerleader at the bench. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I appreciate it. I don't know how much I could, be an influencer if I'm not playing on the court. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to tell you real, like I don't play. How can I play on the court and show your shoes? Because I'm not playing. And like, no, man, like, you're different. Like, yes, you were this guy back in the day. Obviously, you built such a cool brand for yourself, and we think like the community, Hoopers, like they listen to you, like they respect you. So we would be more than happy to have you on board and rep us. And I was like, yeah, I mean, of course, I'm honored, man. Like that'd be dope for sure. Anta, ever since Kyrie Irving came on, like,
yeah,
that shit is dope.
They've been like, it's cool. Like they're like
looking cool now.
Yeah.
They're looking
Kyrie
trendy.
Irving. I think Kyrie Irving's shoe for the longest time was like top seller, right?
Yeah.
Like the Nike ones.
For a minute, bro. Yeah.
Well, my two takeaways there is number one, JD's super humble, like even to the point where like, yo, like you're willing to walk away, and like you feel like I was like wild to me. And number two, Anta smart. Because they get it.
No, they get it, bro. They know that I make content. They understand how content is king. Like Anta, I know what you guys are doing. That's why I like you guys.
Shout out Anta.
You guys are really smart, bro. So I like the way you're going about things. Like you guys get it. So
that's cool.
Fuck, if that was me, I would. No questions. Yes.
Where do I sign?
Where do I sign?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, for sure, bro. It's like you guys don't have to offer me much. Like we're gonna build some cool stuff with Anta, bro. I can't say it right now, but we got some dope things that we're gonna build.
I'm sure.
For sure, man.
We'll support.
Can I take a quick step back? Step back three. I also saw your gaming content.
Oh yeah, just playing around with it.
Have you always been a fan of gaming growing up?
Whole life, not just a Call of Duty guy. Like I played everything, like starting from Nintendo to Super Nintendo, Sega CD, Nintendo Cube, 64, PlayStation 1 through 5, like everything.
What's your favorite game growing up?
Favorite game growing up? Final Fantasy 7.
7?
For sure. Like the whole story, RPG, like
7 is Cloud?
Yeah.
Yes. Cloud, Tifa, Barrett, Sephiroth. For sure, Final Fantasy 7. I think like I'm a fan of everything, like whether it's FPS games or RPGs or like I just play everything. So I was just messing around, like making fun game content just because I was just thinking like I need to build up my TikTok platform. Yeah. And I just heard recently like if you can put some videos between 7-9 minutes long, like they amplify your content for free. Okay. So I just started putting long videos of gaming content
clips.
And I was getting like 300,000 views just to me getting my ass kicked by some kids.
I think you were playing. One I saw like you were playing Farlight. I think.
Yeah, I was playing Farlight.
And it was like it had like 300,000 views.
Random, so random. Like, so I was just messing with that just because, dude, it's fun. Yeah, like it's fun making content and why not?
And any thoughts on like being like a pro player for gaming, or is that like?
Yeah, I mean it's cool. Like right now, it's such. For me, like if you're an athlete, you need to rest your legs. So while resting, I can game. So there is not this. Oh man, why don't you get up and do something? Like no, I am resting. I had basketball practice. I need to rest my legs. So. Might as well do some gaming on the side. Yeah.
Speaking of, like, this has been, I think, this was an issue that I saw in the NBA. So, like, I don't want to say the wrong play. I think it was Ben Simmons previously, and then like Karl Anthony Towns and all these guys who, they're pretty much like playing Call of Duty and like these guys, but then like some fans, right? Like, yo, like that's why you don't have a jump shot, man. Like you're on Fortnite all day. Like. Have you ever experienced that, or like like people kind of questioning your work ethic just because they see you maybe post something fun, or you're gaming, or you're traveling?
No, I don't think I don't really get too much hate because I think I'm doing so much. Maybe they would say like, shouldn't you have your focus somewhere else because you're in the game 4 of the finals? You got to kind of be a little bit aware of the situation, I think. So. I think there comes with some context when you're playing these games. Don't play during game 7.
That's true.
Like kind of stay away from it for a little bit. But within context, we're all human, so we need time and space. We need things to get our mind off of basketball or things that you're that you're building. I think it's good to have like some separation. You can't just be 24/7 Mamba mentality,
Right.
grind. You got to have some tension and some release for sure.
Oh, that's fun. At least you're not getting. No one's like questioning. If anything, they would question like, "Yo, rest up, bro."
Yeah, bro, for real. That's really what people kind of tell me, like, dude, you need to chill out, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing way too much.
It's
Whatever, man,
crazy.
it's fun.
It's crazy. Well, yeah. Speaking of like gaming, and I think part of gaming now is kind of weaving into like the crypto space and Web3 gaming. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of the utility, like the big utility for
sure.
that. Well, you're very much deep into this space. I've seen you like you were speaking at a Philippine Blockchain Week, and just one of the very recognizable KOLs in crypto. I believe you're with coins.ph as
Yes.
well as
Yeah.
helping them out with their content and ambassadorship, right? What are you seeing now? Like, how are you approaching basically this kind of responsibility? It's like a responsibility on your shoulders at this point to help educate the masses about Web3 or crypto.
Yeah, I think after the big bull rush kind of calmed down and it's just kind of settling into its place, that there's still such an enormous amount of building that we have to do. Like, you nailed it on the dot, like gaming is really going to be the next bull run for sure. So you see with these companies right now, they're all kind of like, they're building out their games, they're building out like the whole back end of the ecosystem, how that's really going to operate with these games and how that's going to be tied into, I guess, like, we don't talk about it too much, but like just having digital items in the game that you own yourself.
Yeah.
Try not to say NFT. We can't say NFT.
Digital collectibles.
Right? I think I do see, like, when we do have that bull run, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be nuts, man.
I think so.
Like, I mean, you saw when Meta came out with their Ray-Ban glasses and
I want that.
That looks sick. If that's just the beginning of what we're gonna start seeing with all these other games coming out, like Illuvium looks sick.
Yeah.
That looks pretty dope. Axie's building a lot of crazy dope shit. Like
Sexy boy.
Axie boy, shout out Axie. It's so hard to tell what's gonna happen. Like, a lot of teams are just full on build mode right now.
That's true.
Right.
What I'm really excited about it is you mentioned it, like those items, those NFTs that you could sell. So for me, like, I think one of the things that will really propel us to that next bull run would be like, if there was a super solid MMORPG, kind of like a World of Warcraft level, because that's already there's an economy, right? Like, I think those games like that, well,
and it's gonna happen.
it is. I feel like
It's all gonna come together, and that one game is just gonna hit, and it's just gonna take off. Like, I mean, think about we hear rumblings of it, like the GTA 6 of how you can earn crypto in the game.
Oh wow.
Right? Correct me if
something.
I'm
Yeah, I
wrong.
know.
Something along those lines.
They're exploring that. I
They're
think.
exploring like how you can make real money in the game. And
Imagine like, robbing a bank in GTA actually makes you money, right?
right? Like, they are testing
They
the
are.
waters
They
on
are.
things like that. So, like I remember reading in Illuvium, right? So for those who don't know, Illuvium, think about it as like a Pokemon type of game. You're catching these creatures and then you having a battle with person versus person or person versus environment. And they're talking about things like when you catch these creatures out in the open world, there's just not going to be an abundant amount of these creatures. There's actually a level, like, set amount.
Yeah.
So you are really affecting the world when you capture this one creature and put it in your own inventory. There's only 5 of these.
Right.
Like, so I mean that's pretty cool. Like, how you can catch one and it really affects the whole open concept of the game. Like they're getting there with these games.
That's true. It's exciting. It's crazy and exciting at the same time, because I think gaming is because everyone's like a gamer, right? Like, your mom plays games on her phone,
of course.
right?
Yeah.
Like, everyone, like, I know is in one way or another a gamer, and that's why it's the easiest way to onboard the masses.
I think so. It's because, like, as we're getting older, right? Because we all played games when we were younger, right? Because that gaming era was like when we were younger, and now that we're turning into moms and dads and uncles, and we're putting that on our kids, right? So it's like the whole family. We're, like you said, we're all gamers, and it's kind of just normalized. It's not like super frowned upon like it used to be.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
Yeah, I think regarding crypto, I think I mentioned just to James that I'm not a fan of crypto.
Hater.
Yeah, I'm not really a hater. Maybe it's just boomer mentality in me. So for someone like me, what would be your advice on how to get started with crypto, or what's the easiest way or safest way for me to get involved?
Oh man, that's such a great question. Like, I always tell people slow and steady. Like, you really need to educate yourself on the terminology and really understand how money works before you get into it. Like, understand what is a coin out there and how does that inflate or deflate in value? How does the macro or the micro environment affect the prices of these coins? I don't want to use too many words, but like, it really is about education. If you don't know what you're putting your money into, you just see prices go up and down, like, you're going to lose money so quick, right? So outside of just telling people like, yeah, read the white paper, like go on the website of this company and see what they talk about. I mean, with anything, you need to be a sponge and you got to just absorb all of this type of information. Like, there is no rush. This isn't going anywhere. Right.
Yeah.
So I would say the biggest thing is you take your time and you just absorb just all this information about money, finance, how money flows. Because, dude, you can't, if you don't know any of these acronyms of XRP or ETH and how it really affects or how it's going to affect or benefit our world, then, man, dude, you're just gambling.
Right.
You're just straight gambling at this point.
So study the basics first.
Study the basics, bro. Just study the basics. That's it.
Well, that's is that something you're gonna start doing?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, man, that sounds like work. I don't know, man. I just want to make some money.
Maybe I'll just be a hater. All right, well, cool. One of the things that you're super passionate about, we talked off there, is you wanted to drive awareness on ADHD. That's one of your advocacies. So, what's the story behind that?
Yeah, I don't talk about this too much. So I'm diagnosed with ADHD. Had it my whole life, and I used to take medication, and then I pretty much stopped when I had to come here, because it was hard to get the medication coming and sending it to and from the States at a regular like cadence, if you will. And I try to take these substitutes like Ritalin, and they had this other one called Concerta. But really, it got to the point where like I need to find ways to not use this medication and find ways that I can help alleviate these types of like symptoms that kind of come up when you have a lack of focus or lack of drive or anxiety or depression. They don't talk about it as much out here, right? Like, they talk about it more in first world countries. I guess out here, I guess we always go to that. We got real problems out here. Like, who wants to talk about mental problems? And I feel like that's starting to catch up now in this day and age. We talk about mental health, and I think, at least for me, like, I feel more comfortable talking about it now than I used to back then. I used to just kind of like really keep hush hush about it because we don't really look at it as in a positive way, or we don't recognize it as how we recognize it today.
That's true.
I know a lot of people go through it. I know a lot of people want to know more about it, and so I don't want to be some big advocate and let everyone know that I have it. I just want to let people know like what it is, and there is a community out here for it, and you're not alone, and the things that you feel that if you feel different than most people, or things that you can't explain, like, and there's people to talk to. You know, there's people that you can reach out to, whether you're a basketball player or you're just a businessman or you go to school. Like, we're just all here to help each other out.
That's awesome, and I agree with you, because for some reason I think in the Philippines, just mental health alone is not as, I don't know why it feels like it's a taboo topic sometimes, but like it's very different. Like I know at least in the US or Europe, like it's serious. Like people go to therapy and like, but here like it's not, like it barely gets talked about, and I feel like only the ultra rich like kind of like do it. And it's not even the cost, because I feel like there would be free stuff like, you know, clinics, and actually there's this app that I think Consult MD. Like you could book mental health, like, you know, with an actual professional.
That's dope.
For like 300 pesos, right? Like
there you go.
But I don't think anyone I don't know. I don't think people use it. Like I don't know what do you have a hunch like why people don't seem to talk about it so much here?
Maybe it's the way our culture is here. Like we don't, like, there are so many other problems that we have out here. And addressing mental health is something that our parents didn't talk about, our grandparents. We don't address those types of things. We address other problems. So I think it's just like bestowed upon us that it's not a big deal. Like get over whatever you're feeling. Like if you're depressed, stop feeling sad.
Yeah,
you're not sad. Like it's, oh, thanks, Dad. Okay, I got it. I'm good now. So the day, you know, the age or the era, it is changing, and we are identifying it a little bit more and more. But I think now's, you know, a time to, hey, let's spread some awareness about these types of things. I think it's not a bad thing to start trying to do things like this, right? We're not hurting anyone. There are people out there that want to know things about this more, so let's talk about it.
We're getting there. I think
we're getting there.
Yeah. Personal experience, you know, before, you know, I used to shit on people talking about mental shits on sock meds. Not until I experienced it myself. Yeah. You know, before I would just say, you know, man up. Fuck you, man up.
Don't be depressed.
Don't be depressed. Just man up. Take, you know, face that shit. Until earlier this year, I get to experience it personally, like anxiety, depression, and shit. Yeah. And that's when I realized and believed that it was true. And starting from that point on, I'm not making fun of those people that I would see on social media. I would even reach out to them and ask if I can help with anything.
That's
you know,
dope.
all that. Yeah. So to everyone, mental health is real.
Yeah. I love the
really is,
career
bro.
arc.
I mean, it really is about perspective, man. Like, we have our own ideologies, and we think we know because we have these. We make these opinions based off what's happening to us, right? So when something doesn't make sense because we haven't experienced it and we don't know what it feels like, it's hard to comprehend that can't be real. I haven't seen or felt anything like that. So how could that even be a thing, right? It doesn't make sense to you in that moment, right? So it's cool, man. Like I was just like you for the longest time, just thinking like, stop feeling nervous, like anxiety, like what are you doing? Like you're just weak in the mind. Like get mentally stronger, because you're just being weak in some fashion. Like you need to get better, but really, like it can happen to anyone. You know, true. Like you really don't understand until you get into that moment yourself that like it is a thing, bro.
It's real, folks. Yeah. Good thing is not like there are ways to deal with it now, and that's cool. And how does your with all the things you're doing, right? Like, do you have this kind of like 3-year, 5-year vision? Like, where do you want to be in that time frame?
Man, I want to like crystal clear picture of me being in Hawaii, turning my son into like this warrior gladiator sports like multi-sport player / president. Meanwhile, I'm just how would you say this? Just have a multitude of investments and diversified portfolio. I got this media company here. I got this entertainment brand here, and I'm just enjoying life.
Nice.
But How to get there? I'm working on it.
It's the work.
It's the work, bro. It's the grind. It's the pain and suffering.
Yeah, but right now, we mentioned you're doing a lot. How do you manage everything? Like being a basketball player,
Sure.
Daredevil Media podcast, and being an advocate for ADHD.
You need a team around you. You can't do this stuff by yourself. Like when I went to my first Philippine Blockchain Week, I really just immersed myself with these great businessmen and women and people who really have they really have, I guess they have their shit together, right? So I would always pick their brains and ask them, like, how are you doing what you're doing? How do you manage 2,000 people? How do you have these businesses that you're scaling? And they said, you can't do it by yourself. Cannot. You need to get a team around you. And you need to organize your time by, like, even if it's by the hour, like, we all have 24 hours in a day, right? So you need to maximize that. And if you got a lot of things going on, if that's not organized properly, you're going to be all over the place and you're not going to get as much done as you can. So the biggest thing is you build a team. You get a couple assistants, you get whatever you need that you're building on. Like, you have to surround yourself with a team. That's so important. It's easier said than done, right? Like, let's say you have no money coming in, right? Like, then you're just set back a little bit further. Then you got to build up money.
Right.
You got to find a way to create that money, and then you can start going to these types of step 3, step 4, step 5.
No, that's true.
Right.
And like sometimes, like, if you don't have money, like, you could just try to suck it up and do it first, like, on your own, right? Like, hustle it, and
hustle it, man. Like, for sure, trial and error. Like, do it yourself. But you'll notice real quick, the more people that you can surround yourself with that think the way you think, you're going to get a lot more done. Yeah. A lot quicker.
Do you also, like, have do you time, or do you do, like, project management or, like, time management? Oh, this hour block, this is just for this thing. Like, do you follow, like, a routine?
No, I wish. Like, see, like, I don't have it all figured out. Yeah. Like, I wish I did. Like, I still do trial and error. And that's something I'm working on, is being more organized of, like, how much time I should put towards something. Like, I'll have a team and I have systems set in place of working on these projects, and I'll just go from one to the other. Just like, I'll get infused with this and I'll just go head deep and just be all about that, while the other ones are still being built, until someone raises, like, hey, we need you with something, JD. Can you come over here and start getting into this? I'll go and I'll start doing it. That is something that I'm trying to get better at. It's just really, like you said, like, managing that block time for these things.
Well, I think it's okay to not have everything all figured out, right?
Yeah.
Like,
man.
It's a process.
No, for sure. Like, a lot of people will try to put their best face forward and look and perceive like they have it all figured out. Like, I always, like, have this thing where, like, everyone's full of shit. We're all just making it up as we go along.
Yeah.
Like, you ever notice when you're a kid, you look at parents, you look at teachers, and, like, they look like they have it all figured out. And then as you get older and you become, like, an adult, you're just seeing, like, oh man, these guys, they have no idea what they're doing, or they're just really making this shit up.
Real talk.
Dude, everyone, man. It's just, everyone's just putting on a face, and like, we're all trying to figure it out day by day.
That's some real talk. Well, this has been great, and we're getting close to kind of a wrap up, and we've learned so much, and I'm sure our listeners as well. But one cool thing we try to do in this show is we ask our guests about kind of what your top 3 things, like starter pack advice for anyone who's listening.
Ooh.
Would you have something for us, like your top 3?
Yeah. Starter pack of just, like, getting into anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Just accept failure, embrace it. Like, you want to take as much pain and suffering as you can. I know I was saying that earlier, but I can't stress that enough. It's not supposed to feel good when you're growing. Like, if it's easy, you're not growing. So you got to really just embrace the darkness for whatever you're doing, man. Whatever you're trying to be good at, you want to fail. And as soon as you can flip your mind towards that way of thinking, when you're starting to feel all these bad things, like that's when you know it's working. That's when you know something is like, I'm getting better, you know? So I would say like the mentality is huge, like embracing those types of things. I would say the other thing is you surround yourself with the right people. If you're not with the right people that are on the same goals or same visions of what you want to do, that's just that's a recipe for disaster. You're not going to get anywhere if you're being held down or shackled by people who aren't on the same vibes or wavelengths as you. And sometimes you're going to have to go solo. Maybe there isn't anyone around that's like the way you are and the way you want to be. So you're going to have to ride solo. And that's better than being around people who are just going to hold you back. And may that be positive, or more obviously it's more negative. Like if you got to be alone, you got to be alone, bro. Like it's just, I think that's something that's we don't really address too often than not. And I would say the last one, I think I said this the very first thing on this show, is you got to love what you're doing. Whatever it is, man, you got to love it, because all that pain and suffering and all that losing, like that's not going to feel good if you hate what you're doing, whatever you're building or doing. Or if you love it though, all that stuff that you're going through, it's worth it. Right? Like you're going to feel, you're going to not feel as bad when you're going through the darkness and all these things when you're trying to get this thing that you want. So you have to love it. If you don't love it, stop doing it. Don't do something you want to love, because I promise you guys, like, life goes by so quick, like, and it gets quicker. That's the shitty part. So by 3, 4, 5 years from now, like, no one's going to care what you're doing or the way you're acting or the things that you're trying to strive for. Like, everyone's too worried and cooped up about themselves. So who cares what people think? And who cares sometimes what your family thinks or friends? If you want to do something that's going to make you happy and you're not hurting no one and it's for yourself, like, do it, bro. Because when the day is all said and done, you're going to regret it if you didn't do it. I promise you that. So do what you love, accept, embrace the fail. Like, hey man, you'll have a good time. You'll enjoy life if you do this.
Nice. Well, what was your favorite takeaway, Calvin?
I like them all, but
oh man.
no, yeah. I agree. You do you. Enjoy what you're doing. Make sure you love what you do. Just be yourself. Or just a saying. I forgot what show it was. But you're right. You should try to be yourself as much as possible and love what you do, as long as you're not stepping on anyone or not hurting anyone.
That's true.
And don't care much about what others say. I forgot the show where it says, I think it's Game of Thrones.
Okay.
So it says the lion doesn't concern himself with the opinion of the sheep. Yeah. I think I'm trying to live by that saying or mentality. I'm just trying to be me. What makes me happy, I do it. As long as I don't step on anyone, I don't hurt anyone. Yeah, I think that's the way to live life. Just be happy. Life is short, so just
love
do
what you do.
Yeah, love what you do.
Love what you do. Like, I like what you said about, like, it goes by fast and like faster now. Like, oh shoot, like I'm older now. Like, like
It's quicker.
Was it just a few? Like, you would think, oh, wasn't I just like in my early 20s? But no, bro, you're getting old.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
It's super crazy. So, I mean, that's one of the biggest things I try to go by, those 3 things for sure, man. You're always going to have haters, bro.
Yeah.
You're always going to have someone like not agreeing with the way you walk or the way you look or something. So
I read something, I forgot where I read it, but they said that in the world, right? Like, think about people, it's as if you have this whole circle of 100% pie, like a pie, right? 33.3% of people will love you. 33.3% of people will not, or just neutral or don't care, and then the other 33.3% hate you, right?
Okay.
Like, don't focus on the 33.3% who hate you, because they're just focus on the 33.3% who love you, because those people, like, they will rally behind you, and like they will actually do the work to convince the other 33.3, the neutrals, to kind of like want to love you. And the haters, let them be. Like, especially now in social media, like it's good for the algorithm also when someone's commenting hate comments, right?
Oh my gosh,
it just pushes up things.
For sure, man. Our latest episode on Let It Fly, we're getting so much hate on that one.
But it's probably going viral because of that.
Thank you. No.
No, like, so actually that was supposed to be the last question, but I just remember this and I always wanted to ask.
Good.
Because I see this meme, like an NBA meme. Like, I think they use Robert Ory and like James Harden. Like, so I want to ask you the question, like, would you rather? Because you've had like a bunch of championships, right?
Right.
So what is your answer to that? Like, for simplicity's sake, right? Like one championship, 50 million USD, or no championship, 100 million USD.
100 million USD, man. I came from the sticks.
The championship, like, it could go.
It could go. Like, no one's going to care 20, 30 years from now how many chips JD got. No one cares about that. But if I can get 100 mil and I can, like, have my family lineage be okay and,
Forever.
like, for generations and we have turned into old money and we're wealthy just because of I didn't get no championships back in 50, 60 years ago, like no one's gonna care about that.
Yeah.
Like just making it to that type of level, you're a winner, bro. Like you're the top,
for sure.
top 0.2% of the world, man. Like you're a winner. So I don't care. Like that's just a value that we measure of, having championships or not. I'll take the 100 million.
I love the answer.
Let me make it tougher.
All right. Okay.
100 million USD, or being the catalyst and the MVP for the FIBA Olympics, winning the gold for Philippines.
Wait, but does he get money for that too?
Yeah, because I'll get sponsorship.
Yeah, he should.
I guess.
Put some money, like put 50 mil. Put 50 mil to make it even.
But you're saying so I will, like, say that again. So 100 mil, no championships, or the whole, like the
glory, like
Yeah.
you're the face of
You'll be the hero in the
Philippine
Philippines.
basketball.
Man, well, geez, I'm gonna get so much sponsorships, and I'll have my own car wash, own laundromat, JD's, Daredevils.
Yeah.
Like I'll have 100 businesses after that.
Right.
I'll take the
the
glory.
Actually, that's good. The glory, because with glory comes money, right?
Sure, man. Yeah, sure. I'll just leverage that and turn that into there you go.
And then your logo would be like in the PBA.
Yeah, get a statue, turn into the Jerry West logo. We can go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, bro, so how do people like follow you and like kind of learn more? Like, what do you?
No, yeah, man. I keep it pretty simple. J Daredevil 2 is my handle across all social platforms. So you can find me pretty easy out there. I do have that Let It Fly podcast. So it's just at Let It Fly Pod. From my understanding, maybe it's podcast. It's not too hard to find though. I don't think I even
type Let It Fly, you'll see it.
I don't even remember my handle right now. But yeah, I'm pretty easy to find on social media. So hit me up, guys. Let me know what you think of this episode. Obviously, if there's any questions that we missed out, hit us up with some questions. By all means, we'll answer them to the best of our ability.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to the Tidal Zone podcast. This episode has been lit. Make sure to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, like it everywhere, comment. We will also put an interactive question there on Spotify, so make sure you answer that because we always feature the best ones. And this has been great. Thank you so much,
man.
JD, for coming over.
Kelvin.
Thank you.
My pleasure, gentlemen. It was dope.
Well, that's it for this week, guys. See you again. Peace out.
Bye.
Stay out the shadows.